Hello. Hi, Sailesh. Thank you so much for having us. The slideshow, Shikhar is going to run the slideshow.
Okay.
Shikhar, are you with us?
I think Shikhar is also a co-host now.
So I have to tell you, we had so many amazing comments and emails for last Saturday, Earth on Edge, and everybody applauding you and really admiring everything you've done with climate healers and as a global leader for climate healing. So thank you on behalf of everybody who's been emailing and appreciating all you do.
Oh, I'm just doing my job, Peter.
Just doing
And my granddaughter is telling me, do your job, right? So
your job. Well,
yeah,
I guess it's just another job for the angels amongst us, right?
yes. It's our duty to do this.
Hi,
Okay.
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you so much. Hello, Dr. Sailesh.
Hi,
Great to
Shikhar.
meet you right after a week.
Yeah, it's been hectic,
Yes,
right?
yes, exciting though. And of course, I echo Peter's sentiments. Thank you so much for Earth on Edge last week. And we follow up on the discussion from last week today. So
Yeah.
just a mic check and a camera test.
You look,
Everything
yeah, you look
looks good.
great. Yeah.
Thank you. The background is of the waterfalls nearby. So it's a real place, right? Very close to my home.
Mhm.
And it just rejuvenates every time I visit places like this. So,
So would
yes.
you like to spotlight both of you?
Okay. Peter
Yeah.
is on Spotlight. Okay.
No,
Sounds
you're
good.
spotlighted right now. I think they're going to spotlight Peter,
Okay.
and then we can start.
Okay. I'll just switch to presentation.
Oh, my
Yeah.
camera's off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, welcome everyone to this is a follow-up from what happened last weekend when we had the Earth on Edge event that Peter and Shikhar put on behalf of the vegan community. And now they're going to talk about how we are mobilizing and, of course, uniting 1 million activists. We now, just after watching a movie, that's like a perfect tool for vegan activists to use. And so tell us how you would mobilize or unite 1 million activists.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. And just as a check on how things are meant to be proceeded, I'll just confirm a few things from you. We have 50 minutes to talk about, right?
Yeah, we have 55 minutes. Yeah.
55
total.
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And what we'll do is we'll take a few minutes just to introduce ourselves. But majorly, of course, we'll take people through the presentation and we like to allocate a good amount of time for questions and answers. As a matter of fact, we'll also encourage the whole audience to ask us questions, irrespective of at what stage we are at during the course of the presentation. Because today's discussion is about ideation. It's about coming up with hypothesis. Today, we are not coming up with facts, data, research. We will come up with that. But today, it's about planting a seed of thoughts, ideas. That's what we intend to do, create a laboratory. So, Peter, I think let's start with you about yourself.
Thanks, Shikhar. So I'm Peter Goldstein, founder of the vegan community, which actually we're currently in the process of rebranding from We Did It Health. And for me, where this all started, it started with health. Personally, I've observed a doctor prescribe a whole food plant-based diet to his patients, and everybody got healthier. Everybody who engaged lost weight, downsized their meds, felt better, and that caught my attention. So at that point, I got curious and interested and committed to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. I lost 50 pounds. My triglycerides, my cholesterol, my blood work was off the charts, and it came to normal. And at that point, I knew that I had to tell the world. And I went to my friends, my loved ones, everybody I could tell about it, and to my surprise, they pushed me back, leading me to a great frustration. I just can't believe that people I care about would rather be unhealthy, would rather lose an organ than change their lifestyle. And with that, I wanted to find ways to spread the word. And for me, that the fact that the vegan and the whole food plant-based concepts have been around for well over 75 years and way beyond that, and yet only 1 or 2% of the world is vegan, is just mind-boggling. How could it be that such an amazing absolute truth is not heeded, not embraced by everybody? So with that, my passion is to find ways to spread the word. And our unique approach, there's so many amazing organizations in this world, climate healers and probably 100 others who are so dedicated to spreading the word about veganism for all the 4 reasons that we're vegan. And we want to focus on the grassroots level. So what can we do as consumers, as grassroots ambassadors? We're all ambassadors. We all want to spread the word. How can we be more effective so that our friends and loved ones change their lifestyle, at least learn about the benefits of the lifestyle, then let them choose to change their lives? How can we spread the word? How can we get to where we don't have to be pushed away? We don't have to be isolated. We get embraced by our friends and loved ones, and they see us as somebody who's delivering a valuable message to them. And that's what this work is. So we did that health, starting out with human health. And then as I was doing the work, as the team was doing the work, we found that it's really not just about health. And so that's why we're rebranding with the vegan community, and because we're embracing 4 different quadrants of the vegan world. There are 4 reasons people become vegan. It's health, it's animal compassion, and of course it's climate reasons. And the 4th being spirituality, because as we've seen in Christ's spiracy, there is no spiritual way to kill an animal. So with that, here we are. Our mission is to create a platform, that a community with 1 million grassroots ambassadors, all of us sharing ideas, figuring out better ways to inspire our friends and loved ones and community groups, and support each other to thrive and inspire. So that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm here for. And please join us with the vegan community. We're building community. We're uniting people in groups and passion pods with missions for very specific ways to inspire others.
Okay. So yes, thank you so much, Peter. And I'll reiterate, I've said this in the chat box also, but I'll reiterate that everyone's encouraged to ask questions at any point of time, because of course we'll keep on going if we can't address that question right away. But the moment we feel that there's a question that can be addressed and discussed upon, we'll do so. Why? Because as Peter said, or did he say that? We are a laboratory, which means we invite ideas. We want people to discuss. We want people to understand, delve deeper what veganism means for them in terms of how they want to spread it. Why do I say how they want to spread it? As Peter said, there are 4 quadrants, and according to where your inclination lies, where the inclination of the listener lies, the impact will be higher. Whether it's spirituality, animal liberation, animal ethics, or compassion, it's health, or it's environment. So we'll get to the next step. Peter has done a pretty good job of the introduction. We'll see these 5 animals throughout our presentation, because even though we're talking about the climate and environment, and but it's always at the core of our heart, all these animals that we are working for. So, yeah, Peter, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I would like to invite you to share with everybody your background. I know you're so passionate about storytelling, and please share about yourself a little bit.
Oh, wonderful. So just want to confirm, my screen is still on Uniting a Million Activists, which means I'm moving the slides and it's still over there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let me figure out another way. You'll have to give me a minute. Stays on screen number 1. If you give me a minute, I'll just set it up. And I'll also keep a
Yeah,
track
now
of
we
the
see the
time.
introduction and objective.
Oh, now you do, and now I'll close it. Okay, no problem. So I am aware of the time too. We have about 45 minutes remaining. So I'll just give a brief backdrop about myself. Uh, Unlike Peter, who has years of experience behind his back, I am more of a novice in terms of both veganism and the years I've spent on this planet. But I've spent long enough to know that essentially whatever we are taught over the years to achieve something higher and bigger than what is visible in front of us, I have begun to realize that our best state is when we go right back into our childhoods, when we were not conditioned to believe things that were not necessary for us. What to eat, whom to eat, um, what to wear, what to pursue after. These are not the things we require. What we require is love, compassion, empathy, embrace of mother. And the mother being the mother that I see behind me, Mother Nature. Mother Nature has spelled it out all for us. She has created us. She has created everything. And as children, we feel safe in her lap. And with that experience, I left my corporate job a few years back in a metro city in India, India's largest financial capital. The reason being because I was facing climate anxiety. Why was I facing climate anxiety? Because what was happening around us during the COVID time, there were very clear evidences that COVID was happening due to animal uh, transmission of all these pathogens. We came to Goa and I turned vegan for environmental purposes. I turned vegan for the environment because I could not bear to eat something that was feeding into my climate anxiety. Once you get rid of your habits, it allows you to look deeper into what you used to do because you no more identify with who you were. And that time, after becoming a vegan for environment, I started reading more deeply into veganism. It made me realize what we were actually doing to the animals. All those years, I turned away my eyes from animal slaughter and animal exploitation because for me, it was something I couldn't take care of. It was something that was beyond my control, and I didn't need to worry about it. It was sad, but I didn't need to do anything about it. But that was because I identified with my habits. The moment I let go of my habits, I realized what was happening to the animals was of immense cruelty level, which turned me into an ethical vegan, which made me even more anxious about my veganism. But that led me to search for more and more effective ways to spread the word. With that, I joined an animal rescue shelter in India, north of India, Himachal Pradesh. The name is People Farm. They raise animal awareness too, and animal awareness means awareness about veganism. They have about a following of, I guess, around 3 to 5 million across different social media platforms, and they reach out to 30-40 million people every month. And I was able to see working with them how well they were able to transform people through the format of stories. If someone joins them, they don't turn vegan overnight, but they do turn vegan eventually. I tell the stories of the animals. I tell the stories of my beliefs. I tell the stories of my past. The more I tell the stories, the more people want to know more about me. The more they want to know more about me, the more they realize the values that I abide by, the values of veganism. And the longer they stay with me, the more they get exposed to the values of veganism, which eventually makes them understand that what they have been doing by consuming animal and animal products is not correct. Working with People Farm helped me understand the value of storytelling. But I also knew that animal rescue and shelter is one aspect. Another aspect is health. You could talk about health, people having one foot in the grave, as one of my as one of the people I'm working with, Dr. Nandita Shah says. I learned more about health and
Did he freeze for you as well, Peter?
Yeah, so it looks like Shikhar's having internet problems. Let's give him a second to come back on.
the right person at the right time.
Where is he? He disappeared now.
Hello, Peter. I'm sorry. Oh, there he is. Okay.
I'm here. Yes. There's Shikhar. You're muted, Shikhar. Okay.
Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry what happened. I do not know what happened. So I'll just take a minute more to introduce myself. So yeah, I met Peter, and at the right place at the right time, I realized that this is the time to build a community of people with different mindsets, different approach and perspectives towards veganism. There are so many pillars to work through, and that's what I'll showcase in the presentation. We have a presentation with different headers. Just give me a second. I'll switch it on again. Okay, here we go. Should be good.
There we go.
The animals are visible. Is this?
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What do you see? Great. So these are the four pillars or the four quadrants that Peter talks about. At the core of these four quadrants is the psychology behind spreading the message. People don't, at least that's what we have identified. People don't hear what you say. People hear what you want to, what they want to hear. And what they want to hear is something that's within their own comfort zone. What is it that is within their comfort zone? We'll go back to the story I told about myself. What was within my comfort zone was I am feeling eco anxiety, climate anxiety. What can I do about my climate anxiety? Okay, let's turn vegan for the climate. What was it that was I was able to hear within my comfort zone? I don't eat meat anymore. I can probably hear about the cruelty that happens to the animals. Okay, now I become ethical. So similarly, we use the role of psychology because, as Peter also strongly believes in, our goal is to empower the grassroots ambassadors. And I would like to know from you, Peter, directly from the horse's mouth, what is it that you have vision towards the psychology? What's your vision towards the psychology of transforming people and empowering grassroots activists?
Well, absolutely. And there's a lot of components to psychology, and we're looking to bring psychology in to support all the four quadrants, support our mission to be advocating for a vegan world. And there's really two major components to it. One of them being to thrive for ourselves, so our own emotional well-being, so that we can be balanced and we can be happy, and to resolve our triggers, our anger, our anxiety, our depression, so that we can show up from a loving place. Another part, and probably maybe first part of psychology, is about interpersonal relationships and interpersonal communications. So that as ambassadors, we need to be able to show up, to be able to read where other people are at, so that we can meet people where they are, and so that we can communicate clearly and share the most appropriate resources that we think might inspire somebody. So for instance, I had an opportunity to talk with a doctor. I have a friend who's a doctor, and I've talked to him a number of times about being plant-based and wasn't getting very far. But when I told him that the World Health Organization considers red meat and processed meat a group 1 carcinogen like cigarettes, it's something he didn't know. So I got his attention with that. So we need to meet people where they are, to be able to communicate with them in a way that we're not pushing them away. And, to that end, what we've done is we have Dr. Angela Crawford has created a wonderful ebook for us that I would love to share with anybody who reach out to us or who would join our community at wedidit.health, soon to be migrated over to the vegancommunity.com. But if you join us there, or if you message me or email me, I'm more than happy to share this ebook, 7 Best Practices to Inspire Our Friends and Loved Ones to be Plant-Based. And she goes through as a psychologist, a PhD psychologist. She's done a beautiful job of creating this book. So the psychology that you referred to, Shikhar, that's so important, such an important foundation to our work, it extends into lots of other areas. So, for instance, psychology of addiction, healing our trauma, so that we can show up and be inspiring rather than being angry and pushing people away.
Correct. And I received a question because we're talking about psychology, and let us make this specific. I mean, make this clear that neither me nor Peter are psychology practitioners, but we are working with a team of psychologists. So, Peter, would you like to just give a brief backdrop? And I think you have already done that. In case there's still something pending, you can give a brief backdrop of how we work with psychologists, or we'll just get into what we have understood about psychology. And there's a question that if we can talk about apathy and willful ignorance, and also about cognitive dissonance. So do you think we should address that question or give a brief backdrop?
You know what, like you said, we're not psychologists. Shikhar and I, our background is about business. So really what we're doing ourselves personally, our professional value add is to create a community, to find ways to bring everybody together. We see the vegan community as a community of communities where we can bring together people from all aspects, all 4 quadrants of the vegan world, and all aspects of psychology. And with that said, we're working on creating programming, and we invite psychologists and personal growth coaches and anybody who can help vegans be more joyful and spread the message and communicate and build great relationships. We invite those professionals to collaborate with us, and we're more than happy to support their work and to offer their programming in our community and offer their free presentations to benefit everybody.
Yes.
Peter,
Yes,
one question. Would you be able to make the ebook available for us to post on the Trello card for your event?
Yeah, I believe we'd be happy to do that. It's a wonderful tool. It's been loved by many who've read it. We will post it and invite anybody who enjoys it then to take further steps and we have so much more to follow up with that. So yes, we'll be happy to post it.
Okay.
Yes. And Peter, I'd like to still add on to the point you have made. Of course, we are a platform that invites people to come with their field of expertise and talk from their professional knowledge. I would also like to add to the point that as the community, as a platform builder, as a team that's building a platform, we are building this platform with a hypothesis. And the hypothesis and belief. The belief is that there is not a single-pronged approach to spread veganism. There are multi-pronged approaches. So while I'm trying to shift the slides and they are stuck over here, there are 4 pillars or quadrants you see here: health, environment, spirituality, animal compassion. They are the core quadrants. But even within that, as Peter believes, there are 200 different areas through which the message of veganism will spread. So it could be, well, if you want to practice yoga, you go to your yoga school. It opens up your mind to the vegan philosophy. You want to try out your dog's nutrition, you got plant-based dogs, that can open up your mind to vegan philosophy. You are trying out something. For example, there are a few brands, FMCG brands, that are no more testing on animals and no more adding animal ingredients in their products. You want to try that out, suddenly you are open your mind to the philosophy of veganism. Why is this brand selling vegan all the time? So there are not one, but there are plenty of ways to make veganism a trending topic or a mainstream topic. And why we believe that, at least through the months and months of discussions that I've had with Peter, our belief is based on this idea that for veganism to go mainstream, as Peter said, we meet people where they are at. And they may be at the core level among these four quadrants. But what do the people think where they are at? If someone is at a salon, if they are at a movie theater, they are not thinking about health, environment, spirituality, animal compassion. So at that point of time, what is it that will open up their minds to the value of veganism? Someone is at a movie theater, probably it's entertainment. Probably is the success of the actor who is out there on the screen, Joaquin Phoenix, right? He's vegan. He has opened up the minds of people to veganism. What if I'm at a salon? What will make me open up my mind to veganism? Maybe the product that's going to be applied on my head. So we meet people where they are at, psychologically and even physically. So it's with this belief we are creating a whole set of passion pods. You got a passion, you got a skill, you hold your discussions, you build the momentum, you plant the seeds of ideas, you mobilize people together to make the movement stronger. And it's a platform for you to also provide your professional services through, so that people who are vegan are there as grassroots ambassadors. They know, okay, Peter, for example, let's say Peter, for example, is going to talk about how to build an internet platform to spread the message of veganism. Now, he hosts a passion pod to make more people aware of, if you want to do something on the internet, you want to build something tech-based, maybe you can build a community platform. 5 people turn up, 15 people turn up for his talks, 7 of them are vegan. Now, these 7 people have become grassroots ambassadors, which means they're listening to Peter to learn more about how to build that tech, not how to become more vegan. Whereas 7, 8 people who are pre-vegans, as I like to term them, they are not only getting exposed to the idea of how to build technology, but they're also getting exposed to the idea of veganism. So it's with this philosophy that we are working. Is that correct, Peter? At any point of time you want to add or correct me, please feel free to do so.
Oh, thank you, Shikhar. You're doing such a beautiful job. Yes, and you alluded to 200, and our goal is to create 200 passion pods. And again, a passion pod is a group where people come together who are passionate on a specific topic. And we see that as being very important for us, for grassroots ambassadors, because as we go through our lives, we're currently missing dozens of opportunities to plant seeds, to share some facts, some information, and take the opportunity to educate. So as we go through our lives, we may be driving past a nature center or past an environmental education center. Well, I think that we can very easily, if we have the right resources, once we're prepared to be comfortable and confident to have a conversation, we can stop in and share information about animal agriculture and reforestation, because most environmental centers probably don't talk about those things as the problem that's causing climate change and environment degradation, as well as the solutions for the environment being reforestation. And then I might go to my doctor's office and I would would want to plant some seeds, share something about the power of a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And then after that, so my day, our lives just take us to all kinds of places, going to a restaurant and sharing something about the benefits of being vegan. So we're looking to drill down on all these different topics, bring together the professionals to lead these passion pods, lead these groups, help curate all the information so it's very easy for any ambassador to pick up something, no matter where they're going, be able to very easily pick up some talking points, pick up some resources, and plant some seeds. So that's the resource curation. That's the passion pod model that we're working for.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, is my screen available? Yeah.
Yes.
So I like to add, when we talk about multiple strategies, what we mean, if you can see the slide, we meet people where they are at. We build interpersonal relationship with people because they don't hear, or they don't really respond to what you ask them to do. They take in the information by themselves by observing you. As they say, show, not tell. So if you have an interpersonal relationship with someone, people are more open to studying you. People are more open to understanding you. Then guide people, not instruct them. Nobody likes to be instructed, because then the feature of rebellion comes from within. We are all lovers of our self-freedom. If someone else tells me what I must do, well, throughout our lives, since our childhood, we have already been told enough times what we must do. One more straw on the camel's back can break it. So nobody is going to respond very nicely to the idea that you tell me what I should do. So we create a pathway for them. Our goal is to spread seeds. The forest will grow when the time is right. Our path is to create our job is to create a path. So when someone's ready to explore, they take that path. Our goal is to create a whole vegan. Imagine there's a vegan world on one side, there's a non-vegan world. Now these worlds are extremely apart from each other. Now, normally the philosophy is either you are in this town or you're in this town. Either you're in the vegan town or you're in the non-vegan town. We believe that it's a necessity to create a bridge between the two towns, so that people come in to the town of veganism and they feel so safe, they feel so loved, they feel so secure that they don't want to leave this vegan town. They don't go back thinking, okay, I felt better when I was in the town, in the non-vegan city. They feel validated in the vegan city. And our job is to create that path. Our job is to create that bridge. I'll elaborate why. The power of love and collaboration. Peter, I'll say this. Peter comes from the perspective of abundance. Abundance means that there is plenty of opportunity, plenty of resources to get the job done. If we come from the mindset of scarcity, we work from the point of view of fear and anxiety. Whatever we have in our hands, we are fearful of losing that. Whereas with the perspective of abundance, we are more open towards what we could gather. We are more exploratory. We are more optimistic. We will be there. That was the website's name. We did it.health. That's such a manifestation that we already did it. And that comes from the perspective of abundance, that yes, I love the path that I have laid out for you. I love the fact that you can walk on this path. You may not walk on it today, but you will walk on it eventually. And I love creating this path for you. I am not going to be fearful about this idea that the path is available for you only today or tomorrow. So you need to quickly and urgently get across. I come from this idea that if I create the path well enough for you, you will eventually come, because that's how it's going to manifest for me. Peter, do you have any different perspective to add to that? Just to add, we have crossed 30 minutes and we are left with 25 minutes.
Absolutely. No, I was wondering if there's any questions, but I absolutely, the concept of abundance, the concept of infinite possibilities, the concept that we can find the solutions, and we have, and driven and led by love, we can love back Mother Nature and the environment and each other, and resolve the challenges that we have in front of us. And that's the abundance of it, and doing it from a place of love and the place of possibility. So we don't see the solutions. We haven't, the solutions haven't manifested yet, but they will. And we need to know that we need to work towards that. We need to work towards a vegan world. So for all the 4 reasons, for the climate, for health, for everything.
Yes,
There's some
we are
questions
living.
have come in if you want to
Yes.
address the
Yes, Doctor.
questions. Yeah.
Yes, would you like to?
So Kay is asking, the thing I'm confused about is how to reconcile people don't like being told what to do with abolitionism and past rights movements. It seems like feminism and civil rights were one based on something beyond the idea of telling people what to do, but I don't know what to call that X factor or series of
Yes.
X factors. Yeah.
That's a very valid question, because in history, like I have faced this question many times. So just to add to this point, that I'll definitely, wherever we are not able to answer any question well, we'll take this as an opportunity to dig deeper, because I've gone through some research papers on how it used to happen during the civil rights movement, regarding racism, regarding slavery. What was the right method? Was it abolition? The obvious answer comes up is, hey, you can't tell someone to be less of a slave owner. You can't tell someone to be like less of an abuser. If you're an abuser, you're an abuser, point blank.
Right.
End of discussion. So of course, to come up with this idea that, okay, I'm going to come up with a solution that I want you to be on the path to becoming a perfect vegan. This comes from, again, the perspective of love and collaboration. What it means is that, Peter, I'll give my take, and then I'll love to have you give your take too. Okay. It took me 29 years to turn vegan. Until those 29 years, if ever I came across a vegan telling me I should turn vegan overnight, the chances are I took it very negatively. I turned vegan because there were certain events in my life which led to me realizing that I had to turn vegan. Fortunately, I'll say fortunately, something like COVID happened, which accelerated my realization, which accelerated my anxiety to the idea that I realized I had to do something about it. Yes, there were people out there spreading awareness, and I appreciate them for being there. There were people out there that if you really care about the climate, you must adopt a plant-based diet. There is no way around it. There is an urgency. And that helped me. That helped me realize that I need to leave dairy off my plate. I need to leave meat off my plate if I am so concerned about something, and I've got to do something about it. I appreciate that. But if someone had come up to me overnight and said, hey, here's a seed I'm planting in your mind that if you want to save environment, you need to turn vegan. And the next moment they're asking me, now I've planted that seed in your mind, why is the forest not growing? I would have been like, maybe you're not a good enough gardener. Allow the seed to grow and flourish into a forest. Shower it with love. Be a gardener, nurture it in a way which will allow the forest to grow. I have only as fertile a mind. If my mind is not fertile enough to let ideas grow into something which leads me to take actions, I would not turn vegan. So the reconciliation comes from the idea of love, that I am a gardener and I'll keep pouring water and spreading the seeds until the forest grows. Peter, do you have a take?
Sure. Well, what I'd like to add is it's really important to be patient and loving, and to be telling people what to do is pushing them away. And I know that when I first turned whole food plant-based and I experienced all those benefits, I just knew that everybody would want to hear about it and know all about it have followed the way, but I found that they pushed me back. Now I'm a lot more patient. Now I know that they're not going to hear me anyways when they don't, and I just patiently wait for better opportunities. And part of what we're doing is I believe, so Claire Mann, vegan psychologist, shared this with me, and I love her work. She said, we really need a gym. So it's a gym for the advocacy. So a gym where we can practice patience, practice communication skills, practice how we do things and what we're doing. It's really a substantial challenge. I don't think that we can appreciate enough all that it takes for us to become powerful advocates and proactivists, as we like to call it, so that we're not pushing people away. And that's part of what we're doing here is we want to create that gym. We want to have that community where we can support each other and say, slow down, this person wasn't ready to hear it. Or yes, they got turned on by this fact and that fact, and now let's share the other thing. Let's invite them to meet the right professionals that are the leaders on that topic.
And
If
let me
I may
add
add something to that,
Sure.
what you both shared. From a systems perspective, there is something called system justification that happens with people. Because, and it's a well-known phenomenon, psychological phenomenon that happens to people. Because what has happened after the internet, blew open the lies that we've been told, right? So we realized, there are so many lies we've been told, and it's systematically told these lies. This is why movies like Cowspiracy, What the Health, on the one hand, they open people's eyes to how they have been deceived. But on the other hand, it made them sort of recoil. And some people started seeing shadows everywhere, right? And some people then started basically shutting off. And this is what is called system justification. Shutting off. This is called also the Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes.
Where you sort of sympathize with your abusers. And you cannot imagine that this system has been so abusing me, lying to me in my school, everything, that I just shut off and I just say, I'm just going to go with the system. Because at least I know I'm safe. I know my little place here, right? So this system justification is one of the major reasons why people have a hard time transforming systems.
Absolutely.
Okay. But it turns out there's also PhD research that has been done on this. How do you overcome system justification? Okay. And it turns out that the best way to overcome system justification is to put this false system in a larger, big system in which that bigger system is asking you to make the transformation.
Yes.
This is why I tell the story of nature.
Yes.
Nature is a perfect system design.
Absolutely.
And nature sort of conned us into doing all this. Okay, so nature is the biggest con man around, con woman around, right? And we didn't realize we were being conned into heating the climate. Okay, and that's what we did for 10,000 years. We just didn't know that. So now she's waking us up and saying, okay, no more conning. You can now wake up and see what has really happened. And now you have to go vegan and reforest the planet if you want to thrive. So when you say that, it's like saying, your house is on fire. Tell me nicely that the house is on fire. I say, how do I tell you nicely that the house is on fire? And then you say, well, tell me and then go away and let me think about it. Let the seed mature. And I'm saying, dude, the house is on fire. How do you want me to tell you that? Right? And nature is telling you to switch quickly. How smart are you as a species? Okay. It's a measure of how smart are you as a species, how quickly are you able to respond. And as human beings, we've always been quick at responding. Our ancestors were very quick at responding, right? They didn't take, they got up and walked out of Africa, went to every part of the world 50,000 years ago. Nobody knows how it happened. It just happened, right? And we simultaneously started agriculture everywhere. Right? Once we had the internet, we were using it as quickly as possible. We didn't say, no, let me just sit on it and wait. No, it spread really quickly. So I say in the same way, this realization that the planet is on fire and that we have to do something to put out the fire. And there is one thing that we know that will put out the fire, which is to go vegan and replant the forests, okay, rewild the planet. So we have to be very, very open about that message, I feel, and then tell people that nature is asking us to do it.
Absolutely.
Nature is asking for this transformation to happen. And it's part of the system design, the perfect system design, that's nature. That's the story I try to tell. And I find that people, when sometimes they have a hard time understanding me, right? But if they understand my story, they do respond right away, right? So it's
Absolutely.
like it's overcoming the system justification. That's the psychological barrier for most people who cannot believe that this system has been so, I mean, it's literally for protecting the opulent minority from the majority. That's the system we have built. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Very valid point, Dr. Rao, because I'll just add to the point you have made. As I said, I turned vegan because of climate anxiety. I was facing climate anxiety because of COVID. Of course, humans did play a role in everything, but as you said, it was all nature's ploy, and that's what led me to climate anxiety, and that's what led me to adopting veganism. I personally think climate change turned me vegan much quicker than any vegan activist would have turned me vegan. And that's what I heard from you too, that there's a bigger system that is creating that urgency for me to change.
Right.
So what's happening today, and I personally believe, because 2 things happened to me. One, it was climate change due to COVID. The other was I had lost my job during COVID, which made me financially insecure. And I genuinely hope, today with this AI transformation, today with this economic transformation, there will be far more people who will start questioning. I consider myself someone who was good at XYZ job, but now this machine is doing it in such snappiness that I can't even think who I am compared to this machine.
Right.
Now the question arises is, who I am I? I thought I was an engineer, but the machine is better than me. I thought I was a marketer, the machine is better than me. Then who am I? And when that question comes in, I personally believe we go back to the earliest on stage of our life. That is when we were actually nothing. And that is what I think we have to go back to.
Yeah.
So
another
yes,
question from Bhavna. How do you suggest we relate to other social justice movements, such as fighting against racism and white supremacy and so on? Oftentimes vegans ignore those other activisms and it alienates people.
That's such a valid question. See, I'll just add 1 or 2 lines because I believe Peter will have something deeper to say here. My perspective is that we come from a place of love and collaboration, which means that what has worked for them is something that we can learn from. Yes, if they are not vegan, it's regretful. It's something that they could be turned into, hopefully as soon as possible, because they also relate to a cause that's about social justice. But we need to go into that movement with an open mind, that we'll learn from them, and then we will also share our learnings with them, and not with a mindset that I have to defend my philosophy against theirs, which normally can turn away people. That's my take.
And the only thing I can add to that is that's really important. It's something that I haven't really focused on, but perhaps it's something that we should open some conversations with. And as the vegan community, our mission is to host those kinds of conversations. And Shikhar, I think it's something that we need to look at, is to bring in those conversations, start talking about exploring how it is that other social movements have succeeded. What were the magic moments for other social justice movements? And this is a social justice movement. It's a health movement. It's so many things, and there's a lot to learn for us from there. And honestly, I don't think we've ever had that on the table, and I really appreciate it. And, that just goes back to above everything else, we feel that we need to be a laboratory. These answers are unknown. If we knew these answers, the world would be vegan by now. It's been 75 years of trying to get the word across. We're missing something. There's got to be a lot of things that we can learn, and certainly a place to look is the other successful social justice movements. That's a brilliant idea, and we'll make sure that we bring something to the table on that.
Yeah, especially Deb was asking, in this political election year, do you have any suggestions for spreading the vegan message in that arena? Or do you think it's too volatile at the present time?
I don't completely understand that. The second part is there. Can you repeat it, please?
Or do you think it's too volatile at the present time in that possible area of influence?
Well, I don't think we have
Presidential
the
debates.
luxury of asking if that's too volatile. I think with the earth on edge, I don't think we really have time to ask that question. I think we need to put our best game on the table and move forward with it, and keep looking at how we're doing it and keep improving it. But I don't think we have time to think about it. I think it's too volatile. They may be, but we don't have the time to analyze how volatile it is. We just need to do our best to come forward with love and with collaboration and plant the seeds and nurture and support people who are curious.
And regarding, because I hear that you're asking about presidential campaign, is that correct?
Yeah.
Dr. Rao?
Right.
I have just one case study which worked, of course, nothing on the scale of presidential campaign, but definitely in the space of policy making, where animal activists, animal compassionate people gathered together to stop a bill from passing in India. Many of these interviewers may be aware of, I've shared that with you too, Dr. Rao. Last year, the government had proposed a livestock export bill, which meant that from India, animals would be transported live across the world. This bill was put out on the website of Indian Dairy and Animal Husbandry Department, and they gave only 7 days for the audiences or the public's response to come in. 7 days is not enough, because even the awareness that this bill was out on the website takes a few days, because they did it very quietly. Some of the activists connected with each other and they were like, we have to run a campaign, and there are only now 3 days left for this. So a few activists who had a reach of a few hundred thousands, millions gathered together, and they quickly got together. And I was also part of this whole campaign. They quickly got together, made a landing page, made an automated email system, and just told the people the story that in this livestock export, what is going to happen to the animals. And it could happen to your loved animals too, the cats and the dogs. And this story was out within 3 days. Within 3 days, around 200,000 mails were sent out by different people from across India. So much so that even today, if anyone wants, I'll share, the government withdrew that bill just in a matter of 4 days. 3 days, they gave you a deadline. In the 4th day, they withdrew that bill, stating very clearly that they were surprised by the response of people. That's how we got together 200,000 people to stop a livestock export bill, which would have saved many live animals from being transported across the world from India. And if this could happen in India, something on even a larger scale, but something that could be emulating this could happen for the presidential campaign too. We'll just have to identify, if someone's ready, let's identify pockets where people can get together, and we can quickly get to tens of thousands of people to send out mails en masse to these presidential candidates. Let them at least get talking about animals. That will be the next big milestone. If not big in the whole scheme of things, a big compared to where we are right now.
Yeah. See, in that sense, the Indian government is fairly open, in the sense that they have a website where you can go file grievances and complaints, and people actually read it. The presidential candidates tend to be very insulated. They don't hear from the public so much. But yeah, it's worth trying things like that. But you have to target both of them. You
Yeah.
target
Yes.
only one, it becomes like, oh yeah, you are for that and you are not, and I'm against it, that sort of thing. I pray that the next president will be the Gorbachev of Western civilization. Like Mikhail Gorbachev, who dissolved the West Soviet Union.
Yes.
The next US president will dissolve Western civilization and say, let's start over and let's do this veganism plus reforestation solution, because that's the only way out for humanity.
And that's where I think what's happening with, on a side note, but something to learn from, what's happening with AI is telling us, they say emergent properties come out, put in enough data and it will all work together and something unknown will come out we are not even aware of. This is what we are doing as even advocates. We are getting the message out, and one day there will be an inflection point where suddenly the minds will open.
Right. Yeah.
I'll quickly go through the next 3-4 slides
Sure.
and just mention those points. Our goal is to turn thoughts into actions, which essentially means that it starts at the thought level. It goes into a motivation that I want to do this. Then it becomes more of a discipline. Then as it turns into a discipline, it becomes more of a habit. Then as it becomes a habit, it becomes more of my personality trait. It becomes the essence of who I am. So the whole idea from in the marketing space, it's called the AIDA funnel, the awareness, interest, desire, action. My first job is to raise awareness. Then once someone is aware, are they interested in turning? Then they become desirous of turning, and then they take the action. So yes, that's what we are going to encourage as a platform to facilitate that. The system is going to be supportive, which means pre-vegans, vegans who want to do vegan advocacy, vegans who want to learn about different aspects of vegan advocacy, people who want to adopt veganism. The system is going to be built in a way where everyone feels supported and embraced and welcomed, instead of feeling challenged that they are not vegan enough. That's not what we are trying to intending to do. We are encouraging people to come closer and closer and closer so that the world can be safer and safer and safer. There are psychological barriers, as Dr. Rao says, system justification. So these are big psychological barriers. The Stockholm syndrome, if I have been abused for so long, I would rather side with my abuser because the known devil is better than the unknown angel. And we recognize that. We are also those kinds of people. If someone comes up to me and today says that, Shikhar, you have to go into the depths of water to save yourself, I'll be like, I don't believe you. Even though I know this is a scientific thing, I can't go into the depths of the oceans to survive. But this is probably what the non-vegan or animal consumers also think. They think that plants, this is something I never thought of, which means you're lying to me when you say consume plants to save the planet. So that's why we have to address the psychological barriers. What are those psychological barriers? As we have talked, there are childhood traumas, there are childhood triggers, and we have to meet people where they are at. Because the moment someone who is traumatized or triggered pushes back, it creates a barrier between them and their ability to turn vegan. So that's how we are building the vegan community platform. And yeah, join the community. I've added 2 more animals at the end because the whole community belongs to all the animals, which includes human beings too. We are all creation of the same aspect. I want to share 2 things that I think can address what we are facing. It's not directly related to veganism, but these are some metaphorical examples. This one is regarding stress. And the reason I'm sharing is just to help the people understand that stress is not something that we must be blamed for. If we are facing stress, why are we facing stress? I saw this in an Instagram video. You take a penguin, pick him out of Antarctica, put him in India near the equator. What will the penguin feel? The penguin will feel stressed out. Now, what do you tell the penguin? Do you say, hey, you're stressed out, you are to be blamed, you're not doing well enough, that's why you're under stress? Or do you look at the penguin and say, I know what the problem is, I'll send you back to Antarctica, or I'll turn this region into Antarctic region to reduce your stress? So as human beings, we need to be also mindful towards our stress levels and the stress levels of the people we're talking to. They are probably not stressed out because you are talking to them. They're not probably stressed out because you're talking about veganism with them. They're probably stressed out because of the tone you're talking. They're probably stressed out because they have been introduced to new ideas in the past too. And they are too many times they're introduced to new ideas and then they're confused. Is this right? Is this right? Is this right? So put them in an environment where they feel safe, put them in an environment where they feel, yes, this is an environment where I am willing to transform in. And that's why we're building this vegan community, which feels like home. You come back to home. When you come back to home, you're not looking for a fight. You're looking to just lay back and think deeply, okay, could I do this? Could I do that? That's nice. So that's how we are building this community. And yes, we will stay grounded to this idea that we are all connected with each other. Animals, human beings, the nature, the earth, we are all connected to each other. So when I am trying to stand up to someone else, I'm not doing it because I despise them. I'm doing it because I feel like I'm connected with them. So, of course, irrespective of what my approach is, aggression, love, empathy, kindness, politeness, it all comes with this idea that you and I, we are on the same page, or we are at least on the same planet together. So if you're on the same planet, let's explore ideas, let's explore solutions. We may have disagreements. We may not be able to come up with resolutions immediately, but we will eventually, because I have belief that we are the same people. And I love this fact that we are so connected with each other. So that's from my side. Just a question that has come in. What would you say to a person who calls himself to be pure non-vegetarian? Peter, would you like to address this question?
Shikhar,
think
I
we
would
will.
love to, and I think what we need to do is continue this conversation at another time. I believe we're out of time, and I just really like to say that we appreciate everybody's attention and time, and I look forward to connecting with everybody in our future events, connecting with everybody in the community that we did .health, and where we have the passion pods, and we look forward to questions and conversations and future Zoom meetings and community meetings. So thank you so much, everybody.
I posted the link to wedidit.health. Is that the place to go to join the vegan community?
Yes.
Right now it is. Right now it is. And do sign up on our newsletters too. So you could follow us on our Instagram platform. And from the Instagram platform, instagram.com/wedidit.health, we'll be able to assist you to take the whole journey. Where do you sign up on the community? Where do you sign up on the newsletter and everything? So I think the call to action from our side would be just check out our Instagram page. I'll type it down. Thank you. Stop sharing.
The Instagram page is for the vegan community.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you, Sailesh. Thank you, Shikhar. That's beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
And get some sleep, Shikhar.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
He came in from India. Must be 2:30 in the morning there.
Yes.
2:30 in the morning, yes.
Yes.
It's absolutely dedicated to making this a better world. And I just so appreciate working with Shikhar and everybody else. So bye.
Yeah.